So, 30-ish seconds in here. And hey, we got a viewer. Awesome. Sweet. So, my name is Earl. Was a TV show that was on. That is a fact. My name is Earl was a TV show that was on, I believe, NBC. And my name is Earl, literally. And um, so, Tribe fan, how are you? And how are the rest of you out there? Yeah, so I just wanted to check in. The last couple videos. So, I don't know. I guess I've been trying to I'm not trying to like wax too poetic here or be too like overly thoughtful or whatnot, but just have you ever been in a situation where you you think something is okay, but you'd like to try to make it better, and then you try it and you think that what you did was a better product, but it maybe didn't garner the same, well, that it didn't garner the results that you got or that you were hoping for, plus to make it commensurate with the time that it took to put together such material. That's kind of where I'm feeling right now. Last couple videos were something that really I wanted to try a couple different ideas, and I did, and I like them. I the one thing about these two videos that I did was it would, if I were to continue doing that, it really kind of like eats up a lot of time that I could be playing games. But I'm in this like balancing act right now, to be honest with you, between Earl and I, tabletop Earl and I mean, if I say Earl and I, it kind of sounds like I'm talking about myself twice, and that's kind of weird. But anyway, tabletop Earl and I, we want to have a channel here that entertains, that has content, that and I've actually been talking to a couple people about this offline. So I don't know. I'm trying to find a way to take us past this idea that I'm playing a game of project, or a game within a project. What I realize, and I think I've realized it from the get go, but what are you going to do? Is that the investment level of the viewer in the project is like a fraction of the investment in the project that I have. And so playing a project that I have investment. I mean, some people are going to watch because they enjoy listening to somebody who's passionate about something. So I can buy that. But I don't know. I'd like to be able to make videos that I feel like that people want to watch from, maybe not from front to back, but maybe, it's like I'd like to figure out a way to do this in a way that is something that someone is going to say, you know I, this is something that interests me, and it's going to captivate me for half an hour, or if it has to be 15 minutes, 15 minutes, if it has to be 45 minutes because we're playing a game. But I just don't know what that answer is. So I'm like somewhat a little bit unsettled, I guess is maybe the term. I'm not like angry. I'm not dejected. I'm not, I'm just like sort of middle of the road. But, I mean, for all I know, when I do a live stream, we could have the live stream going here, and people could hit mute or turn down their phone or turn down their computer and just be in here to chat, and it could be, and I'm cool with that. I mean, this obviously does give us an opportunity to chatter with each other. There are times I play games where I just chatter about the game itself and pay very little attention to that which is said in the live stream and all that stuff. So I don't know. I'm not sure where I'm going with this, other than just to say I'm like unsettled, and I don't know. I just don't know. I'm not sure if I'm going to do more videos like that where it's kind of like a recap. They feel neater. It feels like something that someone would be interested in watching. I also like the aspect, one of the main reasons I did what I did was to was kind of to hone my skills of video production. I mean, I figured if I didn't if it didn't I appreciate you saying that, Jerry. If it didn't if it wasn't up to snuff, then at least I was attempting to learn something in the process, which is kind of what I was doing. And I may continue to do them. I may just go back to live streaming, because I think, but again, I feel a little bit like the live stream is, I just don't want to be, I don't know. I don't know what I want. What do I want? I want you to be entertained. That's what I want. I want to be entertained myself, obviously, and that's the part that is the project. But there are other parts of. So if you watch the most recent video, at the end there was a whole portion of it where I put some captions in there, and I hope that there's a learning experience in there. I'm not going to tell you what it is, because I'd like you to go watch it. And trust me, at the moment we have no like monetization of this channel. So for me to ask you to go watch it, it's not like I'm going to make any money off of this. But that's one of the things that I feel like, and it's weird because I'm used to looking down there, and I need to be looking up here at you. Um, that's one thing that I think could be captivating to people is when the strategy, if I get questions, it's often, when would you do this, or why did you do this? And it's mostly because that's what people want to learn about, is how to incorporate something into their own project. Obviously, a Tenacious baseball league, there might be, if you've got a favorite team, excuse me, you got a favorite team in it, then you're going to kind of like maybe root for it. I mean, but the investment level's pretty low. It's the investment level's high for me because I've got a lot of interest in it, maybe. But for the average viewer, probably on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm guessing it may be maybe 2 or 3. There's some interest, but I'm not going to delude myself into thinking that it's high. But where it could get interesting is if you, again, it's the part that's about the Phillies, because there's a section in there at the end where a strategic decision was made and it didn't work out. And if you pay attention to it, there may be some learnings in there. I'm not going to spell them out for you necessarily, and I'm not going to spell them out here. But another thing that I think the video does is it commits you to doing stuff, and sometimes you're just like, I have a feeling a lot of us, when we play games offline, when it's just like us here solo, we might float an idea. We might even tempt ourselves at times and say, you know what, I think I'm gonna I think I'm gonna try that, and then it doesn't work, and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna like, oh, I can forget. And when you do it on video, you can't do that. You can. I mean, I could have just not posted the video, and then, but see, and I don't think Craig from RNGIDP is here, but when I played that series, my goal, the three series of October 4th, my goal was to record them in a way that I could package them in this highlight video. And I got to play in that final game with the Phillies. That was the last game of the evening. It was late, and it literally gutted me. It was like I got punched in the stomach, and a lot of it was that decision that if you go back and watch, you will see. But I toyed about just saying, you know what, I'm just not gonna post it. I'll just not do it. I even had that little germ of an idea of when, because the decision that I made was almost such a passing glance. And then I knew what happened, like how things played out. I said to myself, maybe I'll just go back. And I'm sure everybody here, and I'm saying this because, not because I want to be, I mean, this is um, kind of like, what do you want to call it? Maybe outing myself here as far as having these feelings. So I'm exposing myself. But maybe I'll just go back and change that after the fact. Now that I know that how it turned out, maybe I'll go back, use this guy here. The old, I should cover up the brand name, but the old cheater stick, and let's fix this. Let's make this the way that makes me feel good. And I would imagine we've all been there, and I would imagine there are a percentage. I'm not going to say it's big, but I'm sure there's a percentage who have done it. And I'm not here to judge anybody for doing it, but again, there's like a lot of different things that swirl around in your head when you have that on camera. And my eventually, so I was chatting with Craig. I knew that we had a fantasy draft coming up a day or two later, so I kind of like explain to him which then I felt bad because I know that he does watch the videos occasionally, maybe more than occasionally. I don't know. He does. I think he watches when he sets up, maybe, but it's okay. I don't want to commit him to doing it because I don't want to commit anybody to watching any of my videos. I don't know, but I kind of like revealed what happened and saying, I'm this stinks. I did something dumb. All that good stuff. And at that point, then I really felt like I was going to be disingenuous to do anything besides eating the humble pie and putting the video out there, making it, finish it up, and I did. I had to edit that heavily, the last section, and not any heavier than any of the other stuff, but the whole video took a lot of time editing, and I had other things that were kind of like, it came out probably 2 days after I had done the shooting for it because I had a band practice, I had a soccer practice, I had all sorts of stuff that were like coming up, obviously work. I couldn't get to doing it where I would put these things together in a way that looked the way it would, or looked the way that it turned out. So 2 days later, I'm sitting there putting the finishing touches, and the last game I have to edit is the Cubs Phillies game 3, and by that point, I mean, it kind of smoothed itself over. But again, it's just like one of those things. I just knew I had to kind of like eat the humble pie and say, you know what, here, this is where um, this is where the rubber meets the road. You've got to pull it through. You've got to make sure that um, if the Phillies end up losing this, they end up losing it. Oh well, that's fine. But um, it's just the way it happened. It was the blown save and all that stuff. Just it was too yes. Um, Hold on just a second, guys. Okay. So anyway, so I had to get it out there. I just had to get it, and the way that I after it played out the way it did, I just decided, what, this is the best way to do it. I'm not gonna give any narration after the fact. I'm not gonna let myself. Um, there you go, baseball demo. I'm not going to allow myself to put one of these things at the end where I just sort of like go, you know, whack job conspiracy theories about blah 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 blah. I kind of carry on for half an hour about stupid stuff. So stupid saying things. So I just figured out, what, let's put it there. Okay, so I got a couple of comments here in the live stream. So Larry thought I was going to say there were a lot of bleeps. I was actually quite once I shut the video off, there might have been a little bit of I don't want to say bleeps, but definitely some venting. But it wasn't bad. It was actually somewhat therapeutic to have the video going and to have treated it, I think, as professionally as. 'Cause I'll tell you what, the thing that really torqued me, I think, was knowing that I wanted to do this, and a lot of my in-game, like, I did play by play for the whole game, but I tended to keep it simple unless the inning was clearly like leading towards something. So if I got to the end of it was like a 1-2-3 inning, I was just like, grounded to first, and then I just like shut it off because I knew I wasn't going to use that. But it kind of torqued me that it was actually an interesting pitcher's duel for 7 innings, really. I mean, there were a couple of little chances here and there with guys in scoring position, but nothing. Jamie Moyer, kudos to him in that game. He was, for whatever age he was in that season, I forget, but um, it was pretty pretty awesome to see him pitch so well. And see the Cubs. Who was that? I'm trying to remember. Oh, Rich Harden. I mean, Rich Harden. You kind of would expect him out of that from that season, but yeah. But so I was somewhat rude in the fact rude I rude the fact, not RUDE, but RUED. I rued the fact that I didn't get to put the whole game out there because I really thought it was probably one of the better Stratomatic games that could have been done live. Like it was tight. It felt like a playoff game. It literally felt like a playoff game. That's how much, it was just like nip and tuck. Everybody, it seemed like tense, from like, like guys with their teammates in scoring position couldn't get the job done the very few times it came up. And yeah, so let's see. I got a couple other comments here. Jerry, just do what you can, Earl. No worries. Okay, sounds good. It's all about integrity. That that has always been the thing that I've tried to maintain. Um, I think, like I said, we all have these moments. I think where it crosses your mind because we're human, and when we're human, um, I mean, I don't know how many of you guys are Christ followers. How many of you guys are um, have are follow another religion, um, or atheist or whatever. But I do feel like I do believe as a Christ follower that we're all human and that we're all going to fail on our own. And so when left to our own devices, we are going to have things like, you know, doing the wrong thing. And in the case of Stratomatic or any other tabletop game, it would be cheating or fudging numbers or whatever. And I don't want to do that. I literally would like to look at this as experimental, in nature, and to bias the experiment by trying to engineer an outcome is just, it goes against the scientist in me. So, let's see. Yeah, baseball demo set was limited to 6 family visits. Yeah, and there is a challenge every once in a while for, if somebody, I don't know, passes gas, we have to, you know challenge to see if we can detect who was the one who had you know the slip, so as to speak. But anyway, pace of video. Yeah, I did it for the Phils game. Oh, a game I rolled. Yeah, Mr. Utah Mike, was that game 3 that I rolled? Yes, it was. The anti-doctor Laura. I'm not sure who. Yeah, it was game 3. Yes, so they could get eliminated next game. And sorry, Mr. Utah Mike, your fellas couldn't close out the Angels, but tomorrow is another day, and I think tomorrow will be some playing. I get Good Friday off at work now. We didn't previously, but now we do. So that means there's gonna be some rolling of the dice. And little musical interlude there. But so, and another thing, as far as like the edited videos, I've been trying to imagine how that might help carry out the second season stuff. But again, like what I'm trying to say from earlier is, I think there's content that would be more more in demand than others. It's just, I will say this: when you like, so I think in demand content. If you want to know what that is, I think tutorials are somewhat in demand. Showing people how to do things, that's in demand. Trouble is, if you put a strategy video out there that's like a how-to on strategy, and you don't have your act together, you're gonna get called out, and you're gonna probably have to either in the comments section, either you just ignore people and say, you know what, I don't care, or you're gonna have to like apologize and look somewhat foolish, or so that's probably, I would say, the most in demand stuff. I think, yeah, you take care as well, Al. I think the other thing that's it could be on demand, and I've talked with baseball demos about this, is probably where I think if a channel did almost like a talk show format, maybe half an hour every week, or maybe an hour at most, with a little bit of strategy, mostly interviews, I would say, would be the thing. Um, Game developers, um, fellow players who bring unique perspectives, whether it's leagues, whether it's solo play. It could be somebody that has had some very innovative ideas towards how, like a league that you might do. Um, I think though that's another thing, that's another format that would be more, again, creating content that I think is that would be consumed uh, widely by this, what I would call a subgenre of a subgenre. We are so a subgenre is like, like gaming is a genre, like so Al, Red Sox fan, and Higher Ground and Utah Mike, they're doing gaming on mostly on the computer, but I mean that's gaming. I mean, a subgenre is computer gaming, we'll say, but tabletop gaming is a subgenre, and then we get to this subgenre of a subgenre, which is like tabletop sports gaming. And so we've got this, there is a bucket here, and you guys are all in it, and that's cool. We've got each other, and I think when we have a live stream, we've got some fellas that come out, and it's great to interact with everybody, and I think that's why we do, and that needs to keep going, and we will. And it's not like the videos I was making was trying to like supersede or make these types of live streams obsolete, or take them away. But again, it's just like trying to sniff around and see if I could find something that hit the right note. You know what I mean? It's just looking for something. And this may not be the easiest week to do that, because with it being Easter week and everything, or I don't know if it's Passover week. I mean, Easter and Passover are very similar timing, but sometimes when you get Easter at like one end of that window where Passover comes, then Passover ends at the other, and so I don't know if they're. I'm not real familiar with that at the moment, but this is a time of year where you get spring sports. You've got people that are playing. Got kids that are playing. Little league, or like my kids soccer, or and then you've got obviously opening day today, which then starts to take attention towards fantasy baseball and actually watching your favorite team on a regular basis. Hopefully, I don't get to do that because I have satellite, and my team, their games are exclusively on a network that will absolutely not give their signal to satellite. So, woe is me. But after today's game, maybe it was a good thing, because I think Gabe Kapler lost a few fans today for the Phillies. But Jerry Ball will not be a fan of Gabe Kapler after today. I can 100% absolutely lock, stock, and barrel guarantee this is like the most surefire bet you will ever be able to make. Jerry, he is not a fan of Gabe Kapler. So, Gabe Kaplan. I can always count on baseball demos to come out with the with the punchline. The Gabe Kaplan of managers. Who is the what was the smart ass's name? What did what, no, but Gasicki or no? That's the tight end from Kanicki. I don't know. I can't remember. No, that's the guy from. I don't know. I can't remember. Barbarino. Oh, there you go. Yeah, Barbarina. Yeah. Anyway, I'm getting all these guys from like Greece and I forget what the other one was from, but yeah. So what did Kapler do? He pulled Nola out after like a Horshack. That's it, Horshack. He pulled Aaron Nola out after 65 pitches in the sixth inning. To make matters worse, he then double switched out Reese Hoskins for Odubel Herrera in the eighth inning with a 2-run lead, which is okay, but I don't know. And one of the Phillies beat writers mentioned that back in 2008, Charlie Manuel substituted Bruntlett for Burl quite a bit, and I responded to him and said, "Yeah, my replay it showed me that happened, and I did that some. But what I learned is that Bruntlett's range, what you gained in range, you both lost in arm and glove, and you also lost as far as like batting. And so, like in that case, if you give up the lead or you, in this case, Atlanta tied the game and then won it in the bottom of the ninth with a 3-run homer, I believe. So, was it Markakis maybe? Um, so you start 5-0. Gabe thinks he's probably got the Dodgers bullpen. That might be what he thinks. And what makes matters even worse for Gabe is that he not only took Nola out for some guy named like, I don't know, he's got one of the goofiest names I've ever heard. But besides that point, he knew he didn't have Pat Neshek today with like a minor injury or something. Like Neshek couldn't go, so you're going to your bullpen early, and you don't have your best setup guy. That's a WTF, if you know. So anyway, although I will say, all things considered, I'm hoping Matt Klentak can go out and get another first baseman because we only have like 3 or 4 of them on the team. If we could get a fifth one, it would really help the depth at first base. So yeah, I mean it's so. I mean, we had such a glut of them, we had to like offload Tommy Joseph because, you know, you just needed another first baseman. I mean, we brought in Carlos, which is fine, but maybe not. But let's ignore the bullpen because Edubre Ramos and Adam Morgan are like stellar options, and whatever the heck that guy, I forget what the name of the guy is that came in. So the guy came in for Nola and he gave up a 2-run homer. Like, anyway, so I didn't get the chance to watch the game, but I was watching the Orioles game. That was a nice finish. Not so much for Brad Brock. He what did he do? He got nice, relatively routine grounder. I guess the sun got in Chris Davis's eyes at first. Hit him right square in the glove, and it pops out, and the guy reaches first. And he gets 2 outs before any run scores. So, I mean, in theory, that would have been the third out. He would have been out. Brad Brock would have gotten his save. Instead, a bloop single scores 2 after the bases are loaded. And, I mean, granted, Brock walked a couple guys in that sequence, but how many times do you see it? I mean, he got Sano out the first out, and then this little. I mean, it wasn't the most clean hop in the world, but it wasn't like a bad hop. And yeah, and then Showalter leads Chris Davis off in the game, and and I mean, and I was just talking about defensive substitutions, maybe not being so wise. So I don't know about that, but yeah, I think the thing with Chris Davis is that I'm not sure you're really gonna consider him to be like, if you're considering him to be one of your top bats, um, I think removing him for a defensive sub, you're not nearly losing what you are with some other players. But um, I mean, I didn't see his numbers last year, but um, yeah, Chris Davis. I mean, if you like, I mean, maybe he just likes to see K's across the top of the sheet. I mean, I don't know. Showalter's just a. I mean, he's a relic. The fact he's still there, I think, it just is just as much a testament to how much of a relic Peter Angelos is and how little he. Oh, really? Did the Sox blow that one? The Sox blew their. Who are they playing? The Rays. They blew their game to the Rays. Well, that sucks, especially with the Yankees doing their garbage. Tampa won. Yeah, well, you know, Boston wasn't able to sneak Kevin Youkilis in there to be the GM of the Florida Marlins to send them Stanton. So maybe if they had done that, maybe they would have had a couple more home runs. So um, I'm still waiting for the Yankees to send like Paul O'Neill out to run the Angels so they can send Mike Trout out to them. But maybe that will happen at some point. 4 walks in the eighth. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a rough go of it for the Sox, but one game. It's one game, and that's not gonna. Jerry's like, I'll be right back. I hope. I hope so too, man. I might not be here when you get back. I mean, because I'm tired. It's almost. That can't be right. It's not 10. It's not 10:50. Anyway. So anyway, back to business here rather than the pleasure of talking baseball. No, I mean baseball's great to talk about too, but so we will get back underway here. I'll tell you what, the series is, these series are cool. Is it 10:50? It can't be. It can't be that late. If it is, maybe it is. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. Then I gotta get to bed. But yeah. So I mean, the series feel. Oh, it is. Well, I guess my clock is correct. So yeah, yeah. It's great. Get a holiday. But so yeah, I want to try and I want to try to work in some other stuff with these baseball series because they're cool. They're really cool, but it's also it's kind of nice to just go easy with them. So we'll see how quickly I speed through these and get back to the football and some golf and stuff like that. So Masters this weekend too, right? Or maybe it's next weekend. Oh well. Anyway. All right. Yeah, I guess I should be getting to bed, getting the kids to bed, getting. Um, you heard that? That's they doth protesteth too much. Hey, Paul. Hey, that's cool. Sounds like it's lunchtime. I could use a sandwich or something. You get past noon out there, I guess you could have some sake. Anyway, all right, yeah, let's sign it off here and get everybody to bed. Paul, you can stay up for a while longer, I guess. So look out for some baseball tomorrow, and we'll see you then. Thanks for listening to me ramble on. It's some philosophical stuff that probably bores some people, and other people find interesting. So sayonara and good night. Yeah, please do a sandwich. Sandwich. Yeah. All right. Good night, guys. Thanks a lot. Ooh, you can see my finger there.